Proteins are large biomolecules and macromolecules that comprise one or more long chains of amino acid residues. Proteins perform a vast array of functions within organisms, including catalyzing metabolic reactions, DNA replication, responding to stimuli, providing structure to cells and organisms, and transporting molecules from one location to another. Proteins differ from one another primarily in their sequence of amino acids, which is dictated by the nucleotide sequence of their genes, and which usually results in protein folding into a specific 3D structure that determines its activity. Classification of proteins. On the basis of molecular structure, proteins are broadly classified into two categories. They are fibrous proteins and globular proteins. Fibrous proteins. Fibrous proteins have either long, coiled thread-like structure or sheet type of structure. They are usually insoluble in water. Hair, hoofs, skins, nails, silk, animal tissue, wool, etc. are the examples of fibrous protein. Globular proteins. The globular proteins, on the other hand, have their coils looped, twisted, and folded so as to have a sphere-like compact structure. Globular proteins are soluble in water and dilute aqueous solutions of acids, bases, and salts. Examples of globular proteins are the white of raw eggs, blood serum, hemoglobin, enzymes, etc. Some important kinds of proteins. There are many different kinds of proteins. Each type of protein has its own special function. Let's talk about some important kinds of proteins. Enzymes. All enzymes are proteins. Enzymes are the catalysts of biological reactions in both plants and animals. Invertase, urease, pepsin, trypsin, amylase, etc. are some enzyme proteins. Structural proteins. Proteins act as the major structural materials of animal tissues. For example, collagen in tendons, keratin in skin, hair, silk, nails, feathers, etc., and myosin in muscles are structural proteins. Transport proteins. Many constituents of blood are proteins, for example hemoglobin, blood serum, thrombin, fibrinogen, etc. Because blood is a mobile fluid and because it circulates all over the body, it is also called motion protein. Hemoglobin contains a protein called globin. Hemoglobin transports oxygen from lungs to other tissues of the body. The thrombin and fibrinogen of the blood are involved in blood clotting. Storage proteins. Some proteins simply act as food storage. The albumin of egg, casein of milk, etc. are examples of storage proteins. Albumin is the source of food for the growing embryo, while casein provides nourishment to the newly born mammals. Hormone proteins. Hormones are the chemical regulators. Many hormones in our body are proteins. For example, insulin, which regulates the blood sugar. Information transmission proteins. Nucleoproteins are the examples of information transmission proteins. They carry the genetic information from parents to their offspring. For example, RNA, DNA, etc. Functions of proteins. Proteins help in the growth and maintenance of tissues. Proteins, like enzymes, allow key chemical reactions to take place within a body. Some proteins are hormones, which are chemical messengers that aid communication between cells, tissues, and organs. Some proteins are fibrous and provide cells and tissues with stiffness and rigidity. These proteins include keratin, collagen, and elastin, which help form the connective framework of certain structures in body. Protein plays a vital role in regulating the concentrations of acids and bases in blood and other bodily fluids. Proteins regulate body processes to maintain fluid balance. Proteins, like antibodies, helps to protect body from harmful invaders like bacteria and viruses. Some proteins transport nutrients throughout entire body, while others store them. Protein contains 4 calories per gram, the same amount of energy that carbs provide.